Hello and welcome to another episode of Creating Cultures that Outperform. I'm Frank Warner. I'm the founder and CEO of People Productive. I'm here with my amazing co-host, Terri Mays. If you've been joining us on these series, you know we're always talking about some very pertinent topic in the workplace. We've been covering a set of experiments so we can share knowledge about behavioral psychology and other things that apply in the workplace, especially if you want to create a culture that outperforms. So today, we're going to be talking about self-limiting beliefs and how important it is to overcome self-limiting beliefs in the workplace. You find self-limiting beliefs in individuals, you find self-limiting beliefs in teams, you find them in organizations, and you find them in leaders, leadership self-limiting beliefs. And it is super important to overcome these. So, in the psychology circles, they talk about self-handicapping. So we'll start with a very short snippet on self-handicapping, and then we'll get right into it. So, Tara, anything you want to say to tee this up before we get into it?
Yeah, I think this one is a good topic and something that you really do have to be pretty self-aware to realize that it's happening, because it's such a natural thing to do. If you're, most arrogant and proud people don't struggle with this problem often, but it's usually those of us that are a little bit more well-rounded and, not so arrogant that can at times, feel like maybe I'm not as qualified and start to limit myself on what I can do and what I can't do. But it's so true that if you start to think that you can, you can. And if you think that you can't, you can't. So we're going to dig into this topic and give you some really good tips on how to overcome this self-handicapping and self-sabotaging.
Yeah. And we're going to start with a video that's really about an individual, individual perspective. You as a person, self-handicapping, people do it all the time. This guy, John Ashraf's a good guy. Let's listen to what he has to say. And I'll share this screen quickly. We'll take a look at this video. So John tees us up, and then we'll get into what happens in companies.
Self-handicapping. Self-handicapping is when you say to yourself, because of my lack of knowledge or lack of skills or lack of motivation or lack of purpose or lack of money, or where I was born, or how old I am, or how young I am, or how inexperienced I am, or from this part of the world that I come in. When you use those reasons as to why you aren't or haven't yet achieved the level of success that you want to achieve, you're self-handicapping yourself. You're using your story, your circumstance, a belief, an idea, a thought, a paradigm to handicap yourself. And that is going to limit your ability to succeed.
Okay, so now this applies to organizations and individuals. So as a leader, you've got to be on the lookout for this. There are companies, you go join a company, you're a leader, try to find out what their self-limiting beliefs are because they exist. You have organizations that have suffered through maybe a series of failures. Maybe it was on product launches. Maybe it was on systems development items. Maybe every large thing they launch is one of those fingers crossed moments because they just can't get it done. And you start to say, oh, wow, look, we can't get these things right. There's just something wrong here. Or individuals, for all the reasons that, John talked about in that video, they think they're not good enough to do something. And the one thing you want to make sure is that as a leader, you are not handicapping other people. I saw that happen so many times where somebody'd say, oh, it'll take them 3 weeks to get it done. Don't see if they can do it in a week. The fact is, humans, you need to set high expectations. People want to meet your expectations. And humans overcome stuff through challenge. That's how they learn and grow. So it's all really good. And you got to be on the lookout for this, Tara?
That's right. A lot of times we see this play itself out when it's time to give somebody a promotion or give them more responsibility on a team, give them a manager position. Something like that will often trigger people to say, I don't know if they're ready yet. and you limit the other person's ability to come up to speed. You assume that the person can't move into the next level of leadership, or that the person cannot learn what needs to be learned. But all of the time, without fail, there are going to be things, no matter how qualified you are, no matter how much background and experience, no matter what, there are going to be things that you learn on the job. That's just the way it is. No training can prepare you for every single aspect of everything that you will ever do in a position. You can have training that's great and outstanding, and it gives you a lot of background, but there's always going to be things that come up, things that are brand new that the person before you didn't experience, things that will challenge you to grow. Embrace that. As a leader, don't always look for the person that has, if there are 5 qualifications that you're looking for, don't always just look for the person that has all 5. Look for the one that has 3 or 2, even in some cases. Give people an opportunity to grow. Give them a chance to step out into the role, as opposed to being in that role and they come in and now they've already maxed out in what they can learn and grow, because this role, it really should have gone to somebody that needed that growth opportunity. So don't see it as a way to limit people and say that they're not ready. Look at it as a way to say, okay, this person may not be ready. That may truly be the case, but what can I do to help them get ready? What can I do to support them in the first month, 2 months, 6 months, 1 year? What can I do to support them so that now they don't miss out on the opportunity to grow, and I'm supporting them in the process so they do grow?
Yeah. And, look, be absolutely authentic and candid with them and tell them, look, we felt you weren't ready. Here's what you need to work on. And here's an assignment to help you grow in that area.
That's right.
Yeah. The Center for Creative Leadership studied leadership development over 30 years. And what they found was 70% of a leader's growth and learning comes through challenging assignments, actually doing stuff. 20% is through these developmental relationships with people who care about them and help them grow and explain things, teach them stuff. 10% is from really training. And so the reality is they're going to have to learn that 70% by doing it.
That's right. You're never going to be ready fully.
No.
You're never going to be, where you know everything and there's nothing left to learn. You don't even really want that person in the role. Honestly, you want a person that can bring new and fresh ideas into each role and not just do the same old thing that's always been done. Especially in this time where we're in this place of innovation, things are changing so rapidly. We're seeing our world in a different way. Things that we never thought possible are possible now. We've got cars driving themselves down the street. So this is a whole new ball game. So you really don't want that person in the role that, looks and have been there, done that, and they've been in it before. You want somebody with fresh ideas, fresh experiences. So give people an opportunity to expand and to grow. And that in turn helps your organization to grow.
And so let's talk about more ways to overcome self-limiting beliefs. The way to overcome it as an individual or as a team or as a leader dealing with people in an organization that are holding themselves back is to ask the question, okay, so look, we don't have all the resources we need. We don't have all the experience we need. How can we do this? What do we have to do to get going? How do we go on and conquer this challenge? And you got to get your mind in gear thinking about how to do it and get away from the handicaps that are holding you down and really keeping you from achieving what you need to. That goes for individuals too, who are maybe afraid to go out and tackle a new challenge, and they've got to get started because it becomes a form of procrastination eventually. You're protecting your ego and self-esteem. You're not starting something you should. You got to lay out those steps. And, Terri and I were talking before we came on the show, and she brought up the whole way, how do you eat an elephant?
That's right.
And how do you eat an elephant, Terri?
That's right. One bite at a time.
Yep.
You
overcome this stuff.
You got to break it down into something smaller. The bigger things that seem like it's too big, I can't conquer it, I can't overcome it. You really can if you break it down into smaller things that you can do. And you've got to retrain your brain to not think about all of the reasons why we can't, but start to think about the reasons why we can. Start looking, we talked about this a little bit about having this negativity bias where we automatically assume that people won't understand, that they can't do it, instead of assuming that we can't do it as a group. We start to take all the limits off and say, I like to think about it as if, you had unlimited resources. You've got unlimited time, talent, financial resources, everything that you need. How would you solve this problem? And then start to break it down even further to say, okay, so we don't really have unlimited resources, but what do we have? And what from this great idea can we actually accomplish? And when you start looking at the bigger picture to see, okay, maybe we can't have all of these features, there's 75 features. Maybe we can't have all 75, but what if we did 10 now and 10 later and 10 more? And eventually you get to the 75.
Yep.
So you just kind of have to find a way to train your brain to think about the possibilities. It's so very easy to think about, what you don't have. I'm not qualified. I've never done this before. The people around me have never done this before. I'm not enough of whatever it is that your brain is telling you. It's really a fear-based mechanism where your body is responding, your brain is responding to that fear of the unknown to say that's dangerous, don't do it. That's just the way we're wired.
Oh yeah, don't
But
fail. You're going to fail,
you're
so
going to fail.
let's set this up. And
so-
that way, self-handicapping says, if I go out and say, look, if we do this, we're going to fail, and I don't put myself fully in it, when it fails, you've got the I told you so. And
Right.
that's that self-esteem protection mechanism. Humans use it all the time. You've got to get into the possibility thinking. That's how you get teams to move beyond. I can't tell you how many times in meetings over the years we get, maybe a marketing whatever request to actually build some new product, and they needed certainly an unreasonable amount of time. And it was sitting down going, okay, so yeah, we can't do exactly that, but what can we do? Let's think about this.
That's right. Think about the possibilities. Start to dream, start to imagine what you can accomplish. And if you have a team, we've done a whole series on the human factors of leadership, but if you have a team that already gels, they already get along well, they're already high performing, they're a culture that outperforms. If you've already got that type of a team, you'll be just flat out amazed at what people can accomplish when they see a challenge and they know that their teammates have their back, their leadership has their back. They're willing to bring more of themselves to the table. They bring all of their talents and resources. They want to make it happen. When you have a good leader, you want to make whatever they're asking you to do happen. And so you find yourself doing whatever you can to make it happen. And then you see yourself doing things that you never thought you could.
The greatest accomplishments occur when you're overcoming the greatest challenges. And that is what builds like that strength and sinew that holds these teams together when they overcome these challenges together. And so the possibility thinking, stepping forward and getting the group to see there are ways to overcome a challenge, or getting an individual, if you have people who work for you and you see that they're putting these self-limiting, self-handicapping beliefs out, you got to get into the possibility thinking with them. You got to get them to move beyond the doubt to actually moving forward, starting to do stuff. This is what really matters. And you can do it. You can lead your organization to much greater things if you deal with these self-limiting beliefs. Every organization has them, many teams have them, and many individuals have them. Certainly people who haven't overcome challenges are more likely to have them. People who've overcome a lot of challenges are ready to jump into battle. No problem. We'll figure it out. Let's get to it. And that's a big difference. You could spot it right away.
Yeah. Yeah. My husband laughs at me all the time because I am a problem solver. That's just the way I'm wired. I cannot stop. I can't stop fooling and tinkering and thinking about it until I have a solution. And so I'll be working on something that he would have long ago given up on. That's just not his strong suit. And so he will say, I can't believe you're still looking at that, or you're still trying to figure that out. but it just invigorates me. I don't know. I'm one of
Yeah.
those people that likes to solve problems. He keeps me balanced for sure
Yeah.
because I can be more serious, but he's the life of the party. So he keeps me where I'm not so serious all the time. So he definitely has his strong suits, but you know, you get focused on a problem and I'm just like a dog with a bone. I'm not going to let it go until I figure out how this works and how it can be better. You know,
No
I don't
question.
know if you've seen those. It's like a coffee mug on Amazon or a t-shirt or something like that. And it's like the easiest way to get an engineer engaged is to say, there's got to be an easier way. There's got to be a better way. And that's like triggering for
Yeah.
somebody who's wired that way to just think about it and say, how can we do this better? And so many inventions have come from that. So many things that we
Oh,
use
it's
every day
amazing.
have
Yeah,
come from
challenge.
just everyday problems that somebody looked at it and said, we can do this a different way.
That's right. And most innovation is incremental. It's like that. We can do this a better way. Incremental innovation. You don't have to invent the next airplane. Most things aren't invented that way. In fact, they're incremental. So look, you can take your team, your organization, your company to new levels. You've got to overcome these self-limiting beliefs. You've got to create challenges. People have to overcome them. You've got to get that possibility thinking going in response to any of these self-limiting beliefs and self-handicapping situations that you find team members or teams or departments in. And that's how you really move forward. So, we're here every Wednesday, 3 o'clock. We have a new show. It's one of the leadership factors that's going to help you create a department that outperforms without burning people out. Because now we're talking about really unlocking and tapping real energy that people have to do things, that real, innate desire, intrinsic energy. This is what you use to really get a department to outperform without burning people out. So I think it's huge. We're going to cover another topic next week, guaranteed to be interesting. I hope you found this super enjoyable, and we'll see you next time.
Yes. Bye for now.